Well, hello there, my knitting friends. I'm glad that you stopped by. And if you are a subscriber, you're a regular. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're new, you might want to stick around because you never know what you're going to find. So, what have I been up to? Well, I am pretty much finished with knitting mittens for now, even though we just got 3 inches of snow, but it won't last. And you can still technically wear mittens, but I am focusing on spring. And I should have brought these things closer to me. Hold on, I got to grab this top. Here we go. I finished this top, and I'll show you a picture, but I've been knitting with this yarn from Purl Soho, and the particular yarn I'm using is cotton, predominantly cotton. I think there's a slight blend in it. It's called Picnic Cotton, which I thought was pretty appropriate. And this is a top that you knit in the round. Maybe I can move the camera back a bit. There you go. There you are. So you knit in the round. You start at the top and it knits down. And you do increases as you go along. And then at some point you take off a number of stitches for the sleeve. And you continue on with the body of the top. And I made it long, and it tends to have a lot of ease, which means there's a lot of give to it. It's a loose fitting top, and I really like it. So I've been wearing it a lot. What I like about this particular yarn is that it's very soft and it's really nice to work with on the knitting needles. So what I did is I crocheted the back of the neck just so that I know that's the back. So I have a front and a back. And the other thing I did is that if you just, let's say you have 300 stitches and you're taking off so many stitches for your sleeve area, what will happen is it can get too blousy in the back of the material. Instead of it sitting nice and flat on your back, you've got all these little ripples. So what I did is I decreased some of my stitches in the back. So there are some decreasings in the back, which you can't really see. And you need a little bit more stitches in the front for the bust line. So it took a bit of finagling trying to figure it out, but I did. And I think one of the keys to getting something right and getting it fitting you properly is measuring. So I know that I have to have so many inches from my sleeve underarm to the length. Minimum for me, I think, is 14 because I like a fair bit of length in my tops. So, and the sleeve, they had said cast off 80 stitches. I found that was too much, so I actually went back and decreased it to 70. 70 was generous, but it was still a very loose sleeve. And so what I did is I crocheted the edge. That's how I finished it off. And I gathered in the top a little bit so it gives a bit of a curve to the sleeve and just brings it in a little bit. I can actually sort of show it to you like that. You can see a little bit of pucker, and that's what I was going for, so that the sleeve has a bit of a pucker. Anyway, I have pictures, which I will be inserting. Since I liked it so much, and the thing is I'm Canadian, and I have to pick this wool up from Purl Soho or order it from the US. And the first time I ordered this wool or yarn, it's not wool, it's cotton. I ordered a number of balls of this. Initially, I ordered 4 different colors. Spent about $80 in yarn, and it came in the mail, no problem. The second time I ordered, which was for this top, it came in the mail. I had to, sorry, I had to go pick it up and pay duty on it. Okay, let me Let me hold on for a minute and clear my throat. I think it's all right now. It might come back. Anyways, I have these swollen glands under here, swollen lymph nodes, and they don't know why. So going through a series of tests trying to figure that one out. So occasionally my voice changes. I keep telling them that it's affecting my voice. I can't sing anymore. I can't hit certain notes. It just cracks out. But anyway, so that's a sideline. So I picked up this cotton, and when I reordered it, I ordered it a second time. I had to pay duty. So this top is like $125. That's how much I spent in the yarn. The yarn is not that expensive. If you're American, and most of my viewers are American, you can pick this cotton up for about $10 for a 50-gram skein of wool. And you know, if you knit a top, it's about 4 to 5 of these 50-gram balls, which can give you a top, depending on, you know, what you're knitting. But this one was about 4 to 5 grams of wool. So not 4 to 5 grams, 4 to 5 balls once I wind it up of that yarn. The first time I decided to purchase the picnic cotton yarn, I ordered a few colors. I got the blue, this green, pink, this kind of blue, and this reddish sort of burgundy color. And the reason I first of all, I picked up different colors because I just wanted to try and knit it up and see what it was going to be like. I have been on the hunt for good cotton yarns, and I knit it up into washcloths. And it was really nice. And it's the kind of stuff it's really nice, meaning it's soft, and you could wash it, throw it in the dryer. It comes out in the current state that you knit it into. And I really liked it. So once I realized how nice it was on the skin, how soft of the cotton it was, and how great it was to work with, I decided to get more and make a project, like make a top, which I've done. So what I did while I was waiting for the order to come, because I just did the standard surface delivery system, which was about $10. While I was waiting for this next package of yarn, I took apart my washcloths and I knit them up. So this used to be a washcloth. This used to be the washcloth in the green and the pink. So that's why I've got this varied color stripes, but it works out. Works for me. And then, of course, my yarn arrived and I finished up with the blue. So I liked it so much, and it was such a comfortable top that I decided to make another one. So I ordered pink. What did I order this time? Some of the blue and the pink. And I started knitting up the pink one. So this is my pink top. It's a work in progress. Sorry, my head keeps disappearing. But there you go. See that? No, don't really want to be showing you my underarms. They're clean. And again, I'll take a picture. But this top, now what I did is instead of having, what do you call those things? Stitch holders rattling around in the sleeve while I worked away on the rest of the top, I decided to just finish off the edges and do a crochet edge. I'm actually going to take that out and finish it off with a pink edge. But while I was knitting up the rest of the sweater, having the sleeves done off like that just made it a little bit easier, less bulky to sort of move around as I'm knitting. And I'm using circular needles, of course. And I have found also through measuring and using different yarns that on average, I need about 110 stitches for a front, 110 for a back. So that's 110 or 220. And then, of course, when you're knitting a pattern in the round with a yoke like that, then you start with the required number of stitches that they suggest, and you work your way out. And then again, you still have to measure for the circumference of your arm, for your underarm depth, for the length of your top, the length of the top, and your width. So once in a while, I would put these stitches onto a stitch holder, and I use this, gotta grab it. It's called Barber. I got a bit of a reflection there. And I'll show you one. They're a silicone cord that goes onto the end of your knitting needle, like this. They just stick on there, and you run that through, and then you're able to try on your garment. So I love them. They work great. You just have to be careful that it doesn't come undone off the end of your needle, because then you're picking up stitches. I've had that happen, but it's not a big deal. Just means a little extra work. I think I'm a bit of a martyr in that sense, because I actually don't mind picking up those stitches. It's sort of kind of fun if they get picked up properly. So this has not been blocked. Blocking means that you wet the whole garment, and I use an old window screen with a towel on it, and I just form it out, and it blocks really nice. This one was blocked, because when you block, you're going to get a certain amount of stretch to your garment. So let's say you want the length of your top to be 16 inches, depending on how or the yarn you're using. Sometimes it can stretch an inch. I have one item that actually stretched about 3 inches, which surprised me. Had a lot of stretch. This is another top I was working on, and that's the next product. I told you I was on the hunt for cotton yarns. So I was watching a knitter in Nevada. I'll try to pull up the name of her channel and website and that. But she mentioned this yarn called About Strings. It's a Canadian yarn, and I have some here. I don't have the label, and it comes that way with the center pull. It's really neat. These are 50-gram balls, and they're Canadian. So I wrote them and said, like, where are you guys located? I'm here in Orangeville, Ontario. Where are you? They're in Vancouver, BC. So it's nice to support the Canadian economy. We need some of that, a lot of that actually. So then I knit up this top using a vintage pattern, a pattern from like 1983. I guess that's vintage enough. And again, this is such a dream to work with. Now you can order this particular yarn on Amazon. So they do make it available through Amazon, or you can order directly from their site. On Amazon, the Canadian side of it, I looked in and found out that the About strings, they only had about 8 balls left, and I bought all 8 balls. I had it ordered, sent to me. I'm a Prime member, Amazon Prime member, so I get my shipping for free. But I just wanted to grab up as much of it as I could, because it knits up really nice. It's stretchy, it keeps its shape. And I even actually threw this in the dryer and it came out fine. Didn't shrink. So when you think about cotton, a lot of cotton items, when you buy them in the store, you wash them, dry them. If you throw them in the dryer, they shrink. So anyways, that is my top. I'm still working on the sleeves. Another thing I do is I will seam up the sleeves, like, so they don't open up. This is what I do when I'm going to block a sweater, and I just seam it up. It's a temporary, and that helps the edging to smooth out instead of trying to block it. If you've ever done blocking, you wet your garment and you're sorting it out, and the edges are all curled and you're trying to flatten them out. So what I do is I seam it up, temporary seam, then it lays flat, and then when I open it up again, it is much easier to pick up stitches and finish the edging. And this top also, when I tried it on, I was measuring. I had a favorite t-shirt. Actually, I'm wearing that t-shirt today. It's one of my favorites. And I measured out that t-shirt, the length, the sleeve length, the circumference, the depth of, the yoke where I wanted my neckline to be. Measured out, and that was my guidance for this. Now the funny thing is, before I finished the neckline, it was actually down here. And then when I finish the next line, the stitching, the knitting pulls it up. And so it actually went up about 2 or 3 inches. So it's a much more decent neckline. So that's what I have been working on. I highly recommend those. This is not a sponsored comment or whatever. This is just me saying, hey, this worked for me. I really like it. I highly recommend Purl Soho's Picnic Cotton, which I thought was very appropriate because I'm making summer tops, camping, picnicking. Picnic Cotton. They have a lot of different colors. And then the About Strings from Vancouver, BC. 2 great products to work with. I don't know if you knit, sometimes when you're knitting, it drives you crazy because it's like the wool is working against you with the yarn. Whereas this stuff, it's a beauty, it's a dream to work with. It really is. So what I did is I ordered a lot more in this color, the burgundy. That's not what they call it. I forget. They have special names, like the pink is called peppermint pink. That's what they call this, peppermint pink. It's kind of a sandy pink, actually. In some lights, it almost looks peachy. And so I ordered 8 balls of this, 6 or 8 balls. Anyway, I ordered enough to make another top. So it's like, are you crazy? Like, you just keep making the same thing over and over. Okay, if you find something that works well for you and you like it, then keep it going. Because at the same time, not only are you creating a few tops that you like, that you know you're going to wear, but you're also developing your skills. So one of the skills I am still working on is how to switch up my yarns without getting a strange looking line on, let's say, the back of my work. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that line? There's a line right down through here where I switch wool, where I'm going from the pink to the white, pink to the white. And by the way, this stripe effect is by using About Strings and the Picnic Cotton. So I haven't quite learned how to master that technique. I've looked at a few ideas that people have suggested, and it's not quite working out for me. I don't know why. If it's something that I'm not doing, I'm just not getting what they're saying. But anyways, I put it on the back of the work because really, I always say to my kids, I used to say to my girls, draw attention to your face, don't worry about the rest. If you're smiling, that's what people notice more so than what you're wearing. And they're not going to notice the little mistakes. So that's the back. It's like it's got this spine down it. But the front is like perfect so far. Okay, that's it. That's it for today. I could tell you that I'm working on this as a shawl. I love the color of the blue. This is a merino wool as a blend, and this is Picnic Cotton. No, sorry, this is About Strings, and I was practicing my lace work, and then I did it up here, the hearts, but you can't see them quite the same way. And I did some stripes. So this was kind of like a little practice piece. And what I'm going to do, because I'm a little bit obsessed with this particular top pattern, and where did I get the top? It's a Patton's pattern. It's called, it's a tee. They call it a tee, like a t-shirt. Anyway, so that's the pattern I'm using, and I'm improvising it slightly for whatever wool I'm using and that. So I like this color so much, and I like knitting that pattern with the yoke and the increases and the sleeve and all that stuff. I'm going to take this apart, and I'm going to use the wool and make another top like this. Same shape, same size, and continue to improve my skill. Believe it or not, this little section here, that was a mistake. And then I started to do it down here. There's a couple places here where it's like too many rows. And then there's like one where there's just one row. But I just said, you know what? when you're creating something, you're an artist. And then you just give yourself that freedom to do what you want. And my motto for retirement is I do what I want. All right. Now, really, this is the end. So, God bless. See you later. How do I turn this off? Nope, that didn't work. Oh, it's upside down. Here we go. Click. Oh, I'll figure this out eventually.